Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, October 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the US Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook that just came out today, as we can see right here, issued October 1. And we're looking at the time period from October 9 to October 15, and we're looking for the red and white patterns, and we see the red and white patterns that we know by the key on the bottom left that represents tropical cyclone formation probability, just a 20% chance. And if we take a closer look, we can definitely see that for a portion of the Western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, so to portion of the Central Atlantic right there across the northern section of the main development region. And even for the time period from October 16 to October 22, we're seeing some amount of cyclone probability formation across the Western Caribbean into the Central Caribbean, and we also see sections of Jamaica shaded as well. But we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. We know the Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazard Outlook is not 100% accurate. This is just basically showing us a crystal ball of what's to come within the next 3 weeks of October. They aren't set in stone, but I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with whatever happens. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, we can see that we only have 3 entities left. We remember over the weekend, we definitely had a lot of activity across the entire Atlantic, but it has definitely calmed down. The only main thing right now is Hurricane Kirk right there across the main development region, and we can also see the other entities right there, one right there across the northwestern Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, and the other right there across the main development region to the east of Hurricane Kirk. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely make out all of these systems, the clouds associated with the upper level low interacting with the tropical wave, as well as the Central American gyre right there to the southwest of Jamaica. We can also see the clouds. Look at the massive ear of clouds, showers and thunderstorms associated with Hurricane Kirk. I mean, look at all of these high cold cloud tops fanning out. We can definitely see that the system is trying to get its act together. Lots of moisture trying to wrap up into the system as it makes its way into a major hurricane. And we can also see the clouds associated with the strong tropical wave behind Kirk to the east of there that has a chance, a very high chance at that, of becoming Leslie. That's the next name right after Kirk in general. If we take a look at the latest statistics on Hurricane Kirk, as of right now, it's packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. That makes it a low-end hurricane. We know that hurricanes are any systems that have 75 miles per hour or 74 miles per hour winds or more. So definitely a low-end hurricane, and it's expected to remain a hurricane all the way up until 2 p.m. on Thursday, when it's going to become an M, and we know the M represents a major hurricane status. So we can see that it's already on track on that northwestward movement at 12 miles per hour. Then it's expected to move north by around Friday into Saturday, then pushing northeast as we head into Sunday, possibly downgrading back to a hurricane. And we can see that it's definitely going to be staying over the open waters of the Atlantic, so maybe affecting the fish, if not the shipping interests in general. If we go back and take a look at the other systems that the Hurricane Center has highlighted, let's first focus our attention on this system closer to Africa. According to the Hurricane Center, showers and thunderstorms continue in association with an area of low pressure located a few hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development of this system, and a tropical depression is expected to form during the next day or two while it moves slowly westward over the eastern tropical Atlantic. And we see that they've given it both a 90% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days as well as within the next 7 days. So it's definitely on track to become Leslie way before this system that has a medium chance of development, just a 40% chance at that. According to the Hurricane Center, a broad trough of low pressure is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms from the southwestern Caribbean Sea into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Environmental conditions could support some gradual development of this system, and a tropical depression could form towards the end of the week or over the weekend as the broader disturbance moves fully into the Gulf of Mexico. Interests along the U.S. Gulf Coast should continue to monitor the progress of this system. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days. So it only has a 40% chance within the next 7 days. So anytime after the next 2 days, Wednesday, Thursday. So let's say around Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's the chance that it has to, that the window that it has to become something. And the next name after Leslie we know is Milton. So if it actually gets that name, Milton is next in line. Either way, this system is to the southwest of Jamaica, and we're definitely going to be getting in on some of the moisture, if not some overcast skies. As a matter of fact, as early as Wednesday morning, throughout the day on Wednesday across section of the island. Not sure exactly where, the models are all over the place, but they're definitely showing a lot of moisture for a portion of Jamaica on Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. Either way, if we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still make out the ridges of high pressure, one right there to the north of the Bahamas, one right there to the northwest of Africa. We know these are responsible for sending all of these systems from east to west in general. And we can make out the area of low pressure associated with Hurricane Kirk right there. We can see the isobar spinning around the symbol. And we can see the area of low pressure associated with the strong tropical wave right there to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands that has a high chance of development. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out the upper level low pressure right there with the high cold cloud spinning around, interacting with the clouds or the tropical wave or the Central American gyre in general that's expected to do something in the Gulf of Mexico within the next 7 days. The mass of clouds, showers and thunderstorms associated with Hurricane Milton. The clouds associated with that strong tropical wave right there as well. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, October 1, 2024. It was stated that parts of northern and western Jamaica would have received some afternoon rainfall on Tuesday. But first, we highlighted the fact that this upper level low would have spun around and brought in some amount of clouds into portions of the island, and that it did, especially in the morning. By the way, before we get there, first of all, we know northern parishes. We're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? First things first, at 6 a.m. the infrared rainbow satellite images were posted on our Twitter page. By the way, keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we definitely saw those high cold cloud tops spinning around. I mean, look at that. That's definitely the definition of upper level low pressure. Look at the high cold cloud tops spinning around in that fashion. And this morning we definitely had some thunderstorm to the south of the island, whose high cold cloud tops pushed up into southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. So we definitely had some overcast skies, if not some light rainfall across section of St. Thomas, Portland. Some of this even made it as far as Kingston for sure this morning. Then as the day progressed into the afternoon hours, the infrared satellite image is back. Thankfully, the weather nerd, or the Ghost 16, is finally up and running. Again, those satellites out in space that tell us what's happening regarding the weather. They can break down sometimes, and then we have to get the technicians to do their their duties, and it's definitely back. We can definitely make out the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes again. Ghost 16 has that capability to show us all of those things. We definitely had the high cold cloud of the cumulonimbus clouds, as represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds. Definitely had that deep convection across sections of western Portland, St. Mary today, sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, got in on some of the thunderstorms as well. And then finally, at around 5:30 p.m. in the late afternoon, we still had some rainfall, as the Cuban Doppler radar images highlighted this rainfall. We see the greens, the yellows, the blues, definitely across sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, section of Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth for sure. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely make out where we had the clouds across the island today, especially across the north. And then we had the high cold cloud toss being blown off to the north as well, all courtesy of that upper level low. And we can even make out some spots of clouds, some thunderstorms popping up to the south of us. So maybe that's setting the stage for something to happen tonight in some spots, if not tomorrow morning, all courtesy of this upper level low interacting with what's to come of future possible meltdown in the Gulf of Mexico. And we can definitely make out what took place. We definitely had the thunderstorms even trailing into portions of the cockpit country and then going south into portions of northwestern St. Elizabeth. Westmoreland got it in on some of the action as well. But if we take a look here at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we know See Jamaica, they show live streams of Crossroads, Halfway Tree, Flat Bridge, the panoramic view. If you aren't subscribed, just go subscribe today. You'll see live streams of the corporate area in general. We definitely have a partnership with this channel. And you can see it highlighting at around 9:04 a.m. The place was soaking wet. We definitely had some overcast skies, if not some light rainfall, persons walking with their umbrella, cars with their windshield wipers on. To highlight that the upper level low was definitely bringing some light to slightly moderate rainfall to the area during that time at 9:04 a.m. But as the day progressed, especially across the corporate area, we had more sunshine than anything else. And this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall, especially during the afternoon, not so much the morning. We definitely had that across section of northern and western Jamaica for sure. Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, section of St. Anne, St. Mary, western Portland, section of northwestern St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland got in on most of the rainfall today. And we definitely have confirmation from some of our followers. We had II_G_Chrissy stating, raining now in Trelawney, that was 2 hours ago. _King Rayon _ posting 3 hours ago, raining in Hanover. We also have on our Instagram page, TJ Minidal, got some heavy to moderate rain in Montego Bay. Meg Who _D stating, rain in Trelawney now 1 hour ago, from both commenters. So that indeed confirms the rainfall proportion of northern or northwestern Jamaica today. And if we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image that just came out at, let's see the very latest. Alright, so 35 minutes past the hour. So this one just came out at 7:35 p.m. So what, about 5, 10, 15, 16 minutes ago. We can definitely make out, for the most part, it's fair, but we do see some clouds, maybe some rainfall embedded in some of these clouds to the south of the island. Let's see if we can match it to what's happening on the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery. So while this is loading, we can already see some of that rainfall as we saw on the satellite images, definitely matching up with what we saw on the satellite, that rainfall right there to the south of Clarendon. Alright, we have the latest now. It just refreshed. So this is as of the latest image from 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:50 p.m. Jamaica time. So it's very up to date. This image just came out 2 minutes ago. So 8:50 is 7:50 here. We do make out some isolated shores to the south of the island. I guess that heavy rainfall that we had in the dark greens and yellows started to dissipate for sure. But we can still make out the clouds right there to the south of the island. So just because the rainfall is dissipating doesn't mean the cloud cover is all gone. This is why we need Doppler radar images, because we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall, and we can definitely see that all the rainfall is dying out regarding that system. But we still have some rainfall right there to the south of St. Elizabeth, some of it onshore across portion of St. Elizabeth as well. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Naval Radar Station, not seeing much across Jamaica or Haiti, but we do see some rainfall across section of southeastern Cuba as we speak. As it relates to what's happening on the Cayman radar, we do make out some rainfall that affected the island of Jamaica, right there to the west of the island or northwest of the island. We also see some other rainfall to the south of Grand Cayman right there, and that's just about it. Regarding what's taking place right now on the latest halfway tree cam showing 7:52 p.m. Not seeing much taking place, people going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business for sure. Definitely going to be a fair night for the most part. But as we head into Wednesday, things might change. We'll see how it goes because the supercomputer models are predicting rainfall. But we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. Either way, I'll show you that shortly. Regarding the temperatures right now, we can see about 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Could be even lower than that. If we take a look here at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Wednesday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in more gray colors than anything else. I know the gray colors represent average temperature, so we're not talking about the yellows, the oranges, or the reds that represent way above normal temperatures, 1 degrees all the way up to what, 8 degrees Celsius, or the blues into the greens that represents below normal temperatures. Average temperatures, that's what we want to see. We don't want to be roasting on the road or in our houses at all. And what are the average temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica? About 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and when calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31 degrees Celsius, 31.6 to be exact. So we should be receiving 31 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. If we take a look right here at the tips to beat the heat, we know the drill. Always check on others, especially children, the elderly, people with medical conditions and pets. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you are feeling tired. You can't go wrong if you're eating fresh fruit. You can never go wrong with watermelon, apples, grapes, and always stay hydrated with lots of water. Stay away from the sugary drinks and drink more water than anything else if I were you. If we take a look here at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can see that all of the browns that represent the Saharan dust still should be right there across the northern portion or the northeastern portion of the North Atlantic closer to Africa. All of the Saharan dust is there, and we can also see Hurricane Kirk ingesting some of this Saharan dust, but it's not going to be doing anything to the strength of it at all. Still going to be strengthening to a major hurricane. Might limit its strength, maybe not making it all the way up to category 5 strength, but we'll see how that goes. Clearly majority of the basins, South America, the Caribbean, North America in the clear. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that the highest waves should be where we have Hurricane Kirk. Look at the purples, the burgundies, all the way up into the, I don't even know what color that is, oranges. That represents anywhere from 2 to 9 meter wave heights. Considering that it's strengthening to a major hurricane, it makes sense that the highest wave height should be across the main development region, while the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico should be getting on those lighter shades of blues to slightly darker shades of blues. That represents anywhere from 0.5 of a meter wave height all the way up to 1 meter wave height. And that's because the winds across our portion of the basin are not going to be that strong at all. We see more blues and dull greens than anything else. So it should be anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots at most. And we see the general direction, especially across the central to the western Caribbean, coming in from the south and moving to the northwest. So that system definitely going to be passing close to Jamaica tomorrow for sure. If we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica, look at this. Look at the flow that we're going to be experiencing within the next 24 hours. Definitely a flow coming in more so from the south, if not the southeast or the southeast, and it's definitely going to be making way for more of that afternoon rainfall across section of some northern and western parishes in the afternoon. So anything that comes off of the sea gonna be affecting southern Jamaica. Then during the afternoon, when we have that daytime heating, that diurnal convection, when all of that air piles up, all of those cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, definitely going to be affecting northern Jamaica during the afternoon. And just for reference, as stated, especially for the morning, with that southeasterly flow, southern Jamaica is going to be getting it on that. And we know southern parishes, we are talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. And with that upper level flow coming in, looks to be still curving in a sense, but it seems to be coming more so from at best, I guess, the northeast in a way, especially across the eastern side, more so from the south and the western side. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. Either way, we have rain in the forecast, and we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. As a matter of fact, there is going to be a specific forecast. It's forecasting rainfall for sections of most parishes in Jamaica in general throughout the day tomorrow. And if we actually take a look at the timestamps, it's very interesting to see what both models are predicting. First of all, the Euro model right here and the GFS are both showing 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. And look at where we see the blues that represent rainfall, especially across southern and western parishes in Jamaica. So anywhere from St. Catherine westward, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover. Don't be surprised if you wake up to sunshine. We have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. It could be that we wake up to rainfall. It could be that we wake up to cloudy conditions. But for right now, this is what the models are forecasting, and we know we have to work with the consensus. And we definitely see that rainfall for southern and western parishes in Jamaica. Then, as we skip to about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time, we still make out some blues that represent rainfall, especially across the southern portion of the island on both maps. GFS showing less rainfall across the east, but we do see that rainfall across the east on the Euro. How we're working with the rainfall across southern Jamaica still on both maps. And then as we head into 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 12 p.m. Jamaica time, we start to make out more blues across the island in general, especially across the northern side. Look at this. The GFS has the darkest blues across the northeast. St. Anne, section of St. Mary, Portland, section of St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Thomas getting on some of the action, but we see the heaviest of it on the northeastern side. Euro has the heaviest of it on the northern side of the island, again with the darker blues and greens, anywhere from St. James, Eastwood, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. We're seeing the blues on the southern side of the island, but not as robust like what we see on the northern side. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Then by about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, we're still seeing much of the same. The blues represent rainfall across the northeast and the eastern portion of the island. GFS showing that, the Euro showing more of the blues across eastern and central Jamaica, the darkest blues across northern Jamaica for sure. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Thursday. When calculated, that's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we do make out the greens, the yellows, the oranges that represent anywhere from 0.2 of an inch all the way up to 0.75 of an inch of rainfall. GFS and the Euro definitely in consensus, rainfall anywhere from the eastern end to the western end of the island tomorrow for sure, and we'll take it. We're indeed grateful for that. In the month of October in Kingston, we usually receive almost 170 if not 175 millimeters of rainfall for the month. That's almost 7 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, we usually receive 8.5 inches of rainfall for the month. When calculated, 8.5 inches is about the same as, let's say, 200 and maybe 12 millimeters of rainfall, if I'm not mistaken. Clearly, Montego Bay usually receives more rainfall than Kingston in general. And keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives for the month, you can just visit weatherandclimate.com. and it will definitely show you what your parish gets. And regarding the rainfall and the rain gauge, you can do the math yourself with this little graphic right here, showing rainfall from millimeters to inches. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some moisture right there to the south of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Might have been what was affecting portion of Puerto Rico today. We also have some moisture across portions of the Windward Islands right there to the west of St. Lucia. We also have a lot of moisture still associated with the Central American gyre across portions of Costa Rica, Nicaragua right there, section of Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean to match what we just saw, definitely see that moisture to the south of Puerto Rico as we speak, some moisture to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, to the south of Guadeloupe, across section of Dominica, Martinique as well. As a matter of fact, if we load these images from earlier today, we can definitely see that rainfall that portion of especially southern and southwestern Puerto Rico had, that moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out what's happening right now. Look at all of that rainfall surrounding Barbados, coming in more so from the northeast, definitely affecting section of Martinique as we speak. Some of this rainfall was affecting section of St. Lucia. They're getting in on a break now. But we see that St. Vincent and the Grenadines definitely getting in on some hit or miss isolated shores. Grenada might be next. Section of Trinidad and Tobago getting in on some of the moisture as well. And some of this rainfall could definitely make it from northeast to southwest into portion of Barbados later on tonight as well. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can make out that rainfall right there coming into portion of Trinidad and Tobago. Some rainfall across section of Nicaragua, Honduras, the Yucatan Peninsula getting in on some of the action. Section of Florida, section of, let's say, that little island to the south of western Cuba, definitely getting in on some isolated shores, especially on the southern side of there. And we can also make out some isolated shores across section of northwestern Venezuela, as well as Colombia, as well as right there across northeastern South America. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, we know that when these maps are showing something similar, the chances are higher for the rainfall to occur. And we definitely see the consensus for some rainfall across section of the Windward Islands, across section of Martinique. If it's not already falling right now, it's expected within the next 24 hours. Sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados. We can also see some rainfall in store for sections of Puerto Rico, section of the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, section of Florida getting in on the mix, so too Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. Scrolling down, we can make out some rainfall as well across section of Guyana, Venezuela, section of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula as well. And we know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.